Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and this is our Week 6 battle for the PMC D League. We are the coach of the Baltimore Oriolus, and we are facing down Roshan of the Detroit Solgaleos this week. This is kind of a long battle, so I'm not going to try to waste too much time. I'll just quickly tell you about my team. If you didn't watch my team building video, I do recommend that you watch that, and I also recommend that you go check out Roshan's channel. But we do have a specially defensive Skarmory, a physically defensive Seismitoad, a specially defensive Whimsicott, Life Orb Weavile, Choice Specs Heliolisk, and Calm Mind Hidden Power Fighting Mega Sableye. And he's brought a Rotom, Entei, Regice, Diancie, Excadrill, and Umbreon. Right off the bat, I'm really thrilled that he hasn't brought Pokemon such as Nidoqueen or Galvantula. Those things are really nice. Regice is going to be tough to deal with because I don't have a move on my team to hit that thing super effectively. And it's just very bulky and actually is surprisingly good with max attack or a special attack investment. I also don't have a great way to deal with Umbreon besides Moonblast and Taunt and Toxic. So we're going to have to deal with all of those things as they come up here. Unfortunately, I, again, don't have my layout because I'm a little bit pinched for time. And there's not really going to be a whole lot of post-editing going into this video. Because it is a day late, I do want to say thanks to JSpecs for giving us an extension on this match. We just had some issues syncing up our schedules. We had some unexpected events arise, but we were able to play this match yesterday on Sunday. It is now Monday night, and we're just going to go ahead and hop right onto it. So I am going to go ahead and lead with my Skarmory here, expecting like some sort of Diancie lead, just because that would be very good. He could lead Rotom, and that wouldn't have been bad a bad move for him. But, would have been bad for us. But he goes with the Umbreon, and just right off the bat, I'm going to go off for a Toxic on this thing. I want to start whittling this down as much as I can. Synchronize obviously does not do anything to our Skarmory, so I feel like this is already playing out pretty well for us. He just goes for a Wish, and there's nothing that this thing can do against me, so I'm going to take this as an opportunity to go for my Spikes. Spikes are going to be awesome this game. I'm so happy I decided to bring them over some other move. I think I was thinking of... I don't even remember the other move I was considering besides Spikes. But so he's up to full health, and he does go for the Heal Bell, so it's good to know that he has that. That makes it even harder to deal with. But anyway, I am just going to go for another layer of Spikes, because even if he brings this thing in, I don't really care, because there's just nothing he can do back to me. And he is just going to go for his own rocks, which is good to know. So I get up a third layer, and I'm like, what do I care? And he is just going to go ahead and swap out now. I do click the Iron Head just because I know it's not going to do a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, we are going to end up beating him 1v1. He brings in his Rotom, which is a nice play, and he now goes and doubles out here. He could have gone for Volt Switch, but I guess he was expecting to switch into Seismitoad, which I can't remember if that's what I did here or not. No, I went into Whimsicott, because that could take basically any move that the Rotom's going to go for. So now I really don't want to take an Ice Beam from this thing, so I do take this as an opportunity to go out into my Seismitoad. Now, contrary to my play from last week, I am going to play very carefully with my Seismitoad this week, scouting out for HP Grass basically whenever I can, and that is what I choose to do here. I know that if he goes for an HP Grass, my Skarmory can take it, and we can try and figure out a good way into a Pokemon to take this thing on. He does go for Focus Blast. It's a good indicator that he doesn't have Hidden Power Grass, but we're not going to take that as gospel just yet. He is going to go ahead and swap out, and we are going to go for a Roost. If he went for Thunderbolt, we're going to lose our flying typing there, so it's not going to do as much, which is nice. Now, Excadrill does just go for the Rapid Spin here to get away my Spikes that I worked so hard for. That is fine with me. I have plenty of opportunities to set up later. And I go for the Iron Head, and it actually does kind of a lot of damage, which leads me to believe that he's actually offensive. At this point, I'm thinking Choice Scarf with Stealth Rock. He is just going to go ahead and swap out, and we are going to go for another layer of Spikes because there's no way he's staying in. And now this Entei comes down. Now this Entei is definitely scary. And I go into my Seismitoad, which is a very good switch into this thing. He does go for the Sacred Fire. We're going to see how much damage this does and hope that he does not land a burn. It does like 20% or so, which definitely indicates that he's not banded, which has me worried because I don't want to take a Hidden Power Grass from this thing if I can help it. And he does now bring out the Rotom. The reason I ended up staying in is because I did calc it and I knew that I wasn't going to get OHKO'd by it. So now bringing this Rotom in, to me, I'm like thinking, okay, he's definitely got the Hidden Power Grass on this thing. So now let me swap out into my Whimsicott, and there's just nothing that he can do to Whimsicott pretty much at all. So I bring this thing in, and he goes for Trick. So that was the way that he was going to counter my Seismitoad, which was definitely pretty nice. And we get a Choice Specs. I was not too surprised to see a Choice Specs on this thing, just because he saw how much damage a Choice Specs Manectric did to me last week. So now he's got leftovers. He is still Toxic, which is nice for him. And so now he's going to bring in his Entei. It is going to take a little bit of hazard damage, which is nice. I'm pretty sure we just go for the Giga Drain here, which we do. And unfortunately it doesn't do a ton, but maybe it does 15-20%. Probably closer to 15, which is okay. I don't want to go straight into my Seismitoad here just because I'm still not sure if this thing has Hidden Power Grass or not. And I know that this Sneasel isn't going to end up doing a lot in this match. I think I calced that Hidden Power Grass plus Extreme Speed wasn't going to kill, but he ends up just going for Sacred Fire, which is a good play. So the fact that he didn't predict that, and the fact that I can still live a Hidden Power Grass from an Adamant Entei makes me want to bring in my Seismitoad, and my best thing to do against it is just to Toxic it. I could have Surfed, but I'd rather try and just whittle the thing down slowly. He does go into Umbreon to take the Toxic, which synchronizes with our Seismitoad. We do have Rest on this thing, so I'm really not worried. And just based on the way this game is going, he doesn't have any grass coverage on his team. So I can rest up and then get off my 2 turns of sleep against almost his entire team. So that's quite nice. I'm just going to go ahead and go for my rocks here. He still hasn't made it evolved with Diancie. And this thing does take on the Excadrill relatively well, if needed. And so, he can do a good bit of damage to us with an offensive Excadrill, just clicking Earthquake. But obviously we have the Surf in the back that he really doesn't want to deal with. You can see he spent a lot of time just dealing with these poison turns. It's really consuming a lot of the match time. So we now just go into our Skarmory because, it's just, again, nothing that this Umbreon can do to us. And it gives us an opportunity to go for more hazards. Excuse me. And he is just going to, I'm pretty sure, just go for another Wish, or he might go for a Heal Bell. He does just go for the Wish. You're going to see that in this battle, this is quite a recurring theme. But now that he's wished, I do think that he's going to swap into something like Excadrill because he can get it back up to full health and then potentially Rapid Spin. So I do make the play into Seismitoad. I'm hoping that the Surf can do quite a bit of damage here. I know that at the range of HP that I'm at, I can take an Earthquake, but really what I'm counting on is the Rapid Spin because I'm pretty sure I have Stealth Rock and 3 layers of spikes up. So he is under immense pressure to Rapid Spin here. So I do click the Surf as he clicks for the Rapid Spin. Gets away all of those hard-earned hazards once again, but we do get the Surf off here, and it does a nice damage, but just barely misses out on the knockout. As I said before, I am thinking that he is Choice Scarfed based on just how he's playing this. And he does go for another Rapid Spin, pretty much confirming that he is Choice Scarf. And because I know that we can't really afford to wait too much longer to rest, I do go for the rest now and get up to full HP. Whatever he goes into, I'm not that worried about it. I am just going to go ahead and burn a turn of sleep here as he brings in the Regice. I'm still not sure if he's got HP Grass or not, so we're going to play it safe. Go into the Afro Man. If it turns out that he doesn't, he's just going to click the Focus Blast again. He clicks Thunderbolt, I guess maybe predicting the Skarmory. So that's a good attempt to make a nice play. But the fact that he didn't click HP Grass really tells me that this thing walls him to home and back. So we're going to come in here, take nothing from that Thunderbolt, get back up to full HP, burn our second turn of sleep. He is just going to go ahead and go for that Focus Blast. And as I wake up on the next turn here, I am just going to go for a Toxic, because I really don't have any other way to damage this thing. And it turns out that he was Assault Vest, so if I had something like Focus Blast on Heliolisk, it wasn't even going to end up doing all that much. He goes for another Thunderbolt, which is unfortunate for him. But now we do have this thing whittled, and he is going to withdraw. And I don't exactly remember what I go for. I think I go for my Rocks, if I'm not mistaken. And I do go for my Rocks. This Excadrill comes in. It is at a very low amount of HP. I think he's getting kind of frustrated here because he does just click the Earthquake. And even if he clicked Rapid Spin, I could pretty easily KO him with any move that I wanted to go for. A better play would have been probably to go for... no, I didn't have Knockoff. I only had Surf as an attacking move. For some reason, I thought I had Knockoff. He does get off a good chunk of damage here, but we do take him out. And he brings in his Diancie. Now, I know for sure if he clicks Moonblast, he's going to be able to take us out. So it's a pretty good opportunity for us to go into our Skarmory. If he does predict this and go for HP Fire, we can take one and then one on the next turn after we burn our Occaberry. So he does Mega Evolve. It's going to be a little bit harder to lay hazards with this thing around, but Skarmory does beat it 1v1. So he goes for the Moonblast. It does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage, but he does swap out. And we are going to take this opportunity, I believe, to Roost Up as he brings in the Umbreon once again. Oh no, I just go for the Iron Head. Because, if he did click the HP Fire, it was going to be worth it just to knock that thing out. And I know that the Skarmory can roost up on a lot of his teams, such as this Umbreon right here, which we do outspeed. He just goes for the Wish again, and now that we are at full health, I think we just click Iron Head again, which we do, because I don't want him to try and Wish Pass into something like Diancie. He does go for the Heal Bell, which takes the Toxic off of the Regice. This Umbreon is, as you can see, quite a problem for my team. It'd be nice to be able to go into the Whimsicott and taunt it, but having the Choice Specs on it really does hurt. So now he goes into Entei, which is definitely scary, but he does take a lot of hazard damage there, just because being weak to the rocks. I do go for the Toxic, which is nice. Again, I don't have a way to really put on a lot of offensive pressure against this Entei. So the poison plus the hazards damage is really nice. Now, I make a double here into my Sableye, because just based on the way this game is going, I'm actually thinking I'm not going to need it. But he doubles out and brings in his Diancie, which ends up working out in his favor. I think Sacred Fire would have been a fine play. But it still worked out for him. I can go back into my Skarmory very easily. And he makes he busts out the heat here and goes for the Smackdown. Good lord, Roshan. I was not expecting that. However, the only problem with that strategy is that it's pretty clear what you're going to follow up with on the next turn. And I switch into my Whimsicott to take this Earth Power. There's no way I'm letting my Skarmory go down right now. Skarmory is just way too good in this matchup. And he does Protect just to scout out what's going on. So he's got Moonblast, Smackdown, Earth Power, and Protect. So I know his full set. No HP Fire, no Calm Mind, no Rock Polish. So I'm feeling pretty good. And I do just I do double out here as he brings in the Regice. I go into my Skarmory. I'm still having trouble, finding an answer for this thing. Basically, the best way I have to take this down is to wear it down with hazards. I'm getting a little bit low on health, and I am expecting to Thunderbolt, so I do go for the Roost to remove my flying typing. And now that I'm at a good amount of HP, I'm confident, or it's at least a roll in my favor to take out the Regice with this Skarmory. So I do go ahead and click Iron Head as he goes into the Umbreon. I'm expecting a Wish here, so I do go for the Spikes. And it's, we're just getting those hazards up more and more and more as he does go for the Wish. And in case he goes out into Diancie here, I'm just going to click Iron Head. And he does swap out, and he does bring in that Diancie. And so we are, after all of the hazard damage, going to be able to snipe this Diancie with the Iron Head. Obviously, not obviously, but I do think even if he was at like 75-80%, they would be able to take him out, just because it is quad weak. Now there's absolutely nothing preventing me from going for my rocks. Excadrill is dead. Diancie is dead. He still has an Umbreon. He still has a Rotom. He still has a Regice. And he still has an Entei. But the Entei is at like 40%, and the Regice is at 50%. So both of those are dead if I can get enough layers of hazards up. So he does just go for the Wish. I go for the Iron Head. In case he goes into like Entei, the combination of all the hazards plus the Iron Head should kill him before the Wish activates. And he does just go ahead and Wish up, which is nice for him. He goes for the Protect as I go for an Iron Head. Again, I'm just trying to hit something on the switch in. He continues to stay in with the Umbreon, and he reveals his final move, which is Payback. I figured he had to have some sort of attacking move in order to, it not be completely walled by setup mons. But because he's continuing to stay in, I decide to switch it up and go for Toxic. Just if I was in the heat of the match, I was like, oh well, if he swaps out, it's probably okay still because the toxic plus the hazards is going to kill. But as I thought about it afterwards, it was actually kind of a reckless play because the heal from Wish applies before the toxic damage, if I'm not mistaken. So he could have potentially lived on like 1 HP and then gotten up to a very high amount of health. So I'm a little bit sad that I did that, but it ends up not mattering because the Entei does die upon entry. He brings in the Rotom, which is still a threat. I go into my Heliolisk because I know I can take a Volt Switch. I think I probably would have won the game here if I just spammed Thunderbolt. But I thought that the Umbreon might be more specially defensive than it was. So I just go ahead and I Volt Switch out on the Regice, which we finally take out. As I said, the only way that we were going to be able to deal with Regice and with Entei was to get up lots of hazards. So Skarmory is really earning its spot on the team right now. Not that it wasn't already, probably my favorite Mon on the team. But I just go into Whimsicott because I know I can hit super effectively on either of these Pokemon, and we do have a Choice Specs, which is kind of actually benefiting me at this point. Choice Scarf would have hurt this thing a little bit more, but I understand that he wanted the extra firepower on the Rotom. So now he is down to 1 Pokemon, which is the Umbreon. And I don't mean to spoil it for you guys, but we are up 5-1 at this point. And there's not going to be... I don't think I'd be ruining anything to say that we are going to win this game. I click the Volt Switch here because I want to go into my Whimsicott and try and get Taunt off on this thing. We couldn't do that because we were Choice Locked into the Giga Drain before. But the only problem that I have here is I let both my Heliolisk and my Whimsicott take quite a bit of damage. And he is going to heal up. He could have... I wanted to taunt him in case he went for Heal Bell or Wish. And I figured I could go into another Mon and take this thing out. But I don't want to bring in the Heliolisk because now it's at a pretty low amount of HP. So now my only chance is to try and go into Skarmory. This is the second turn of Taunt burned. He does go for the payback. I want to Toxic this thing and get it whittled while it can't Heal Bell or Wish or Protect. He does try to synchronize with me. He goes for the payback. And then again, that's the only move that he can go for at this point. We are at a very low amount of HP with the Skarmory now. So I'm thinking I could go into Whimsicott and taunt this thing again, but the taunt wears off. For some reason, I thought taunt was 4 turns, not 3 turns. So that's my bad for making that misplay. That's like kind of what the thought process behind those series of plays. I can go into Whimsicott and I can just literally taunt him until he dies. And there's no reason to do anything else. But now I don't want to let my Skarmory go down. It still walls this thing, but it can't take another payback. So I start roosting on this thing. He's Toxic. He has Heal Bell. There's no point in talking about this really any further. We do end up going to Timer against this Umbreon because we don't have a way to really pivot into anything. I do try and go into Sableye here to try and set up and maybe take it out. But we do end up taking the 5-1 victory. I did talk to the league administrators, and they say that if this were an untimed match, there's no way I would have lost or even lost another Pokemon as soon as this Sableye came in and revealed Calm Mind. So I think for purposes of differential, we are going to end up with a 5-0, which I'm definitely pleased about. So what this does for us is it clinches our playoff spot. There was a chance... Actually, I'm not even sure that there was a chance that we weren't going to make it. I guess if we lost this game and then lost against Adam and then Roshan won 2 in a row and Kyle won 2 in a row, we might not have made it. But we are going to be fortunate enough to make our way in. Whether or not we win the division still remains to be seen. If we lose to Adam and Orso is able to score a win on Roshan and get have a pretty comfortable win, he will end up winning the division. The consequence of that is that we'd play most likely Aki. Unless Aki loses next week, he's probably going to be the 1 seed. And then if we do lose to Adam while Orso wins and becomes the division leader, we will end up with the 4th seed because Adam will have a better record than us. So we'll play Aki. But if we beat Adam next week, the funny thing is that we end up playing him most likely in the second round as well, or not the second round, in the second match, the next match, which is the first round of the playoffs. I'm sorry if that was confusing. So we'll play him, and then we have to play him again potentially. So it kind of makes it a tricky situation. Because you have to ask yourself, okay, do I like bring all of my my best sets, or do I like try and save them for the following week? What is the right move there? So I have a little bit of time to think about that, and regardless, I don't really care who I play. At the end of the day, I'm just happy to be in playoffs and have an opportunity to advance. This is not a normal team for me. This sort of stall. And I'm happy that I've been able to have some success with it. I think if Roshan had brought Hidden Power Grass on anything, this would have been a completely different match, because the Seismitoad just ended up walling everything into oblivion. And it's very nice. He just has, as much as I complained about having a bad matchup against his team, because he didn't bring Galvantula, and because he wasn't able to use Rotom very effectively, Skarmory was just amazing versus him. It beats Diancie, which deters the hazards, and it also beats Excadrill, which can spin away the hazards. So it's just such a good Mon against him. He could have done some work with the Regice, but I never let him do that. He could have done work with the Rotom, but I never let him do that. The only thing that I really struggled with was the Umbreon. I'm sure if I had sacked something off and then gone into Whimsicott, I could have clicked Moonblast twice, assuming he was at a kind of low amount of HP. And then we could have ended up killing him out 4-0. But I wanted to preserve my differential. And, I'll say too, Roshan he wasn't trying to bad manner me at the end there. He was just trying to preserve his own differential. As I mentioned, J-Specs is going to end up giving me a 5-0 for this game. Because I would have ended up winning, there's no way he's going to be able to take out my Sableye. So that's nice. Good game, Roshan. As I said at the beginning, please, you guys, go ahead and check out Roshan's channel. His YouTube name is Pro Gamer, and it will be down in the description. Really well played. I'm sorry, Roshan, that this team isn't working out for you. If you guys did not know, Roshan inherited this team from Kai, aka Alcoholic Gamer Boy, and it just hasn't really fit his style. So hopefully, Roshan, you can bring it back in another league and really show everybody your skill. So that'll be it for me. Thanks for sticking around for this pretty lengthy video and this pretty lengthy battle. Weren't too many flashy plays, just mostly hitting Toxic and hitting hazards. But as I say in nearly all of my videos, wins are wins. We take all sorts of wins, ugly wins, stylish wins, lucky wins. We take all of those. So please be sure to check back for more Pokemon content. And until the next time, I will see you all later.